And welcome to Joy News at 6. The news is live on Joy 99.7 FM and hits 103.9 FM in Accra. It's also live in Kumasi on Love 99.5 FM, on Facebook live stream, and over 30 affiliates across Ghana's 16 regions, including Volta Premier Ho, Radio Justice Tamale, Sky FM Sunyai, and Radio Fumbisi. Other digital outlets include the My Joy Online app and Spotify. And coming up, Parliament degenerates into violence as MPs exchange blows, forcing the House to adjourn consideration of the controversial e-levy.
They decided to attack our people. They decided to prevent us from making sure we fight for our rights.
We have a special report of all that you missed overnight. Ochehene describes the installation of new Asamankese chief as unlawful, irregular and uncustomary as he insists Osaberima Edudako remains the legitimate traditional head of the area. We bring you details. Some transport operators resort to incentives to reduce the spate of road crashes that characterizes the Yuletide season.
We are aiming to record zero accident for the VIP John transport. So every single driver who is able to achieve that zero tolerance for accident will be rewarded at the end of the day.
In business.
And Energy Ministry pushes for a uniform tariff structure for both consumers and industry. You have details in 15 minutes.
And later on Showbiz, Kojo Entry reveals the secret to his timeless classics.
Love songs, love is a subject that everybody can relate to. And it's a timeless subject.
You want to stay and hear from the Love Crooner. Thank you, as always, for choosing us. We are your home of independent, fearless, and credible journalism. In our first story, Parliament at this dawn degenerated into violence, with MPs exchanging blows over the controversy over the e-levy, and it left the House unable to take a vote on the issue. The House was compelled to vote on whether or not to consider the e-levy bill under a certificate of urgency, but the voting process was truncated by violence on the floor. There's more in this News Desk report.
It was a free-for-all brawl by members of Parliament, hands at each other's throats, throwing punches like boxers in the ring, and ripping apart each other's shirts. This violent scene is playing out on the Speaker's days as the MPs fight over the Speaker's seat. The night had started with Parliament requiring to vote on whether or not to take the controversial e-levy under a certificate of urgency. But Speaker Alban Bagbin was nowhere to be found. If he did not return to his chair, then the MPP side will lose one vote, as the first Deputy Speaker, who was presiding, will not have a vote. Here is Deputy Majority Leader Afenyo Marke.
We have no information as to the whereabouts of Mr. Speaker. The leadership of the majority has not been informed of the reasons why Mr. Speaker is unavoidably absent this evening from the Chamber of Parliament. We see this as a grand political partisan design to frustrate us.
Minority Chief Whip Muntaka Mubarak explains to PM Express that the Speaker may have retired for medical reasons.
Let's not pretend that we in this House do not know that Speaker is going through treatment. And definitely, Speaker gets exhausted and will not be able to sit the whole day.
With Speaker Alban Bagbin absent and the MPP side determined to win the vote to have the e-levy considered under a certificate of urgency, First Deputy Speaker of Parliament Joe Osowusu was forced to preside, but that meant he could not cast a vote, leaving the MPP side one vote short. Without his vote, there will be a tie, and that will kill the motion. It was at this point that Joe Osowusu made the following declaration that triggered a long period of violence on the floor of Parliament.
Enough members, because we don't have a division room, I'm advised that the agreement is that we'll all file out and then the yes will come and they are counted. After that, the noes will come and they are counted. But let me put on record that as soon as I leave the seat, I'm entitled to vote.
Joe Sowusu then got up for his second deputy speaker to take over. Fearing that he may be going out to actually cast his ballot, the NDC MPs charged onto the speaker's dais to seize his seat so the second deputy speaker could not sit down. The MPP side charged back and the two sides clashed, and after a long break, the second deputy speaker returned to make the following announcement.
Honourable members, under the circumstances, we are joining the House tomorrow, 9 o'clock in the forenoon.
Meanwhile, MP for Dudududu Nilante Vanderpoy, who was seen at the center of the melee, has justified the actions of the NDC side.
They decided to attack our people. They decided to prevent us from making sure we fight for our rights.
We'll stay on this a while longer because Majority Leader Oseche Mensah-Bonsu is fighting off claims that the first Deputy Speaker, Joe Sowusu, left the seat to take part in yesterday's votes and proceedings which led to the acrimonious scenes in the chamber. Listen to what he had to say.
Pressing, is it the case that a speaker can't even excuse himself to visit the loo? Is it the case?
Was this the case?
The man was indisposed. He was shivering. And he went to the clinic. The record is there. So we had to persuade him to come and sit. He was in the chamber and he was shaking like a leaf. We had to go and prevail on him to come and preside.
So it begs the question, where was the Speaker, Alban Bakben?
Are you proposing amendments? But I think that we, because of the consensual attitude that we have employed, we still came together and fashioned those amendments. So I think we can make enough progress tomorrow, and I guess in an hour or maybe maximum 2 hours time, we should finish with this and, adjourn the House in a day.
Has the Speaker communicated to you yet?
No, I called on a couple of occasions. I couldn't reach him. And I sent messages, including WhatsApp messages. I've not had any response.
Majority Leader Oseche Mensah-Bonsu, and stay with us. There'll be more on this on the Super Morning Show. The Ochehene Osajefo Amutia Ofuripeni II has described the installation of the new Asamankesia chief as unlawful, irregular, and uncustomary. Osaberima Atabisa Pubi Asumening was installed yesterday morning, amidst sporadic gunshots and resistance from some residents who are believed to be followers of Osaberima Edudako III, another rival chief. The Ochehene, in a statement, insisted the process was an aberration of the Achim Ebuakwa customs. Now, let's talk road safety. And it's 4 days to Christmas, and around this time, the bus terminals in Accra are usually characterized by long queues, with people making the annual trip back to their hometowns to make merry. But it's also a time when the spate of road accidents hits an all-time high. Statistics from the Motor Transport and Traffic Directorate show that more than 2,000 lives have been lost from January to November. So how do we reduce these crashes? That's the question Joy News' Michael Papani Ashali asked some drivers and passengers. There's more in this report.
Today is 24th of December, and for those who are aware, today is 24th of December, and for those who are aware of what 24th December signals, this is a day when more people travel.
We apologize for that wrong soundbite. We'll bring you that in our subsequent bulletins. Now it's time for showbiz, and legendary musician Kudwenchi says he's been timeless and consistent in his musical career because his approach to love songs is personal. Speaking on the Cosmopolitan Show on Joy 99.7 FM, the musician said mentioning names in his songs has been his style for ages. He says it draws people closer to him.
Love songs, love is a subject that everybody can relate to, and it's a timeless subject. So once you sing about them and you don't make them personal, you don't make them personal by, I grew up to listening to music of my pioneers, mentioning names in the songs.
Right.
And you want me to mama maybe or chikeli willy war. I avoided that.
Right.
And so it made people accepted the songs as theirs. So now when you get on stage, everybody is expecting a song that will speak for him or her. That's the magic that has worked for my
Legendary high life singer Kojo entry there. That's it for Joy News at 6. Our top story: Parliament degenerates into violence as MPs exchange blows, forcing the House to adjourn consideration of the controversial e-levy bill. There's more on this on myjoyonline.com. I'm Araba Koomson.